Welcome everyone to a brand new series of modded Minecraft, in which I have way too much to do and not enough time to do it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started right now, and not waste any time. So, while I am going about the business of getting the game started, I will talk about what my plan is. Um, Clearly, people are probably going to be wondering about the trees, and these are dynamic trees. They are not like vanilla trees. They will grow progressively over time instead of all at once like a vanilla tree would. And I can break the whole thing by just punching out the bottom, which is why it took a little bit longer to do the initial block, but it was still faster to cut down the whole tree than to cut down the whole vanilla tree. Anyway, let's not get distracted here. So I've got a lot of mods, a lot of things to do on my my little plan here. The very first thing to do, however, is going to be going to all of the extra dimensions that I've got. And that is because apparently I was looking up the Aether stuff a little while ago. Anyway, with all of these extra dimensions, you tend to have all these adventures available to you. But if you've got a mod that makes you really super crazy powerful, like a tech mod is usually the culprit here. Man, I'm losing my train of thought. If you have a mod that makes you way too powerful, it's way too easy to get through the extra dimension. So, for example, I am aiming to get to the Twilight Forest as soon as possible. And the reason for that is I want to experience the Twilight Forest as it was intended to be played without using any of the OP gear. Do I have any lights on me? Or a way of getting lights? I don't think I do just yet. I guess I will go ahead and throw together a furnace. I'm gonna need to cut down another tree. Yeah, this takes a little while without an axe, huh? But yeah, I do want to experience the adventures of all of these different dimensions without having overpowered gear, which is why I need to do them first. If I do other things first, then I'm going to inadvertently make myself too powerful to experience the dimensions as intended. So that means that it's going to be several weeks before I even get into all of the advanced technology and such. I'm going to get into the processing machines just the tiny little bit so that I can have ore doubling, because it's just way too useful to forgo, and it doesn't really give me any particular advantage in those dimensions, so that is one thing that I will do. Oh yeah, I forgot what I was doing here. I want to do that and get some torches ready. So, in addition to the Twilight Forest, which is the first dimension that I'm going to be going to, of course, other dimensions that I have include, let's see, the Adam, which is a desert dimension. There is, the Aether, of course, you already saw that. That's going to be a good one. I've not actually been there in about 9 years. Let's see, what else we got? We have Man, why is it so hard to think whenever you're on camera? um, we have Galacticraft, which more or less counts. This is a bit of a tech mod as well, but it does have a whole bunch of extra planets to go to. Well, actually, Galacticraft doesn't have a whole bunch of planets, but it does have some. What does have a whole bunch of planets, though, is the Extra Planets mod, which adds all the planets in the solar system and some of their moons as well, and even some other galaxies. Um, Despite the sheer number of planets that it adds, the content is only about as much as any other dimension mod because, frankly, other planets are somewhat barren. If you're lucky, there will be a dungeon on that planet and maybe some cool terrestrial features, but it won't really take you very long to find that stuff. Man, what else do I have? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, right. The Erebus. This is a mod that is a dimension filled with bugs. Lots and lots of insects. So I will tell you, if you are scared of bugs, you might want to skip those episodes out whenever I come to them, but I'm not going to be going there for a little while, so it'll be alright for now. And then I also have the Between Lands, which is apparently a massive dimension mod with a lot to it. And I've never actually experienced it for myself, so whenever I play it here, I will be playing it for the first time. Let's see, did I cover all of them? I might have covered all of them, to be perfectly honest. If there are more, though, I'll get around to them eventually. So, now that I have talked about all of the different dimensions I intend to go to early on in this playthrough, and early is a relative term, it's going to take me dozens and dozens of episodes to get through all of that stuff. Anyway, though, once I'm done with all of the exploration adventuring, what is the plan after that? Obviously, after I'm done with all the exploration, I will have no qualms about actually getting into the overpowered technology and such. I've also got Thaumcraft, and a couple of add-ons for Thaumcraft as well, including Thaumic Augmentation, and Thaumic Additions. I got confused for a second there. I thought those were the same add-on for a second, but no, they just, Thaumic A and Thaumic A, they both start with the same letter. Glad I found copper here. I do want to get into the Twilight Forest as soon as possible, but it would also be good if I got, copper in particular before going there, because copper is one of the things that is not easy to find in the Twilight Forest because of this. It generates between these coordinates, and the Twilight Forest is only half as tall as other dimensions, so I think the height that usually is the surface is at y equals 32, which was below the level at which copper spawns, according to that helpful little thing in JEI there. And I'm not going to need a whole lot of copper while I'm there, of course. There's nothing native to the Twilight Forest that uses it, and therefore not much that I want to use it for while I'm there. But it is necessary in order to make the pulverizer and the powered furnace, and I would like to get that stuff underway. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just stick my torches in the other hand here. I don't know why I didn't think to do that sooner. But yeah, we're just looking for a diamond right now. That's all I need. Once I get a diamond, then we will be home free to get this adventure underway. Man, I get so easily distracted though. So, back to the original point that I was trying to make. I don't even know how long ago. Plans for after all of the exploration adventure is complete. There are a number of things that I wish to do, but one of the top goals is to make a giant zoo filled with tons and tons of different creatures, of which I've got a lot. Not only do I have creatures from other dimensions, of course. Let me get this iron out of the way and replace it so I can put a light there. Oh, dang it. Yeah, lots and lots of creatures. Not only the ones from the extra dimensions, but also from other mods that I specifically added in order to give myself creatures, like the fossil and archaeology mod, which will allow me to resurrect dinosaurs from fossils. And we'll have Jurassic Park all over again. Hopefully not including the part where I get eaten. I have Ice and Fire, which is a mod about mythology, including adding mythological creatures such as dragons. And they're much higher quality than the Ender Dragon, by the way, which is much appreciated. I like high quality models. In fact, I like high quality models so much that I've also got Better Animals Plus, and also a sister mod to that called just simply Better Animals, although that one doesn't add any items, I don't think, so it's not going to show up in the JEI here. But what it does is that it gives a bunch of the vanilla mobs an updated model as well. So if I see a spider or a pig or a cow or a few other creatures like that, they will have more detailed models. And the spider is probably going to be a little bit more creepy than you're used to if you haven't seen it already. But I figured it's going to have creepy spiders in the game anyway whenever I get to the Airbus, because those also have very detailed spiders, so why not just go all in? If I'm going to have a zoo, I want to have really good looking creatures. I'm gonna have to go back up to the surface in order to... You know what, in fact, now that I've hit a roadblock in my little staircase here, let's just go back up and make an iron pick. I also have nuclear craft, as you can see. There is radiation in my world. I am very, very, very slightly being irradiated by that uranium, and by the surrounding uranium and thorium ores that are in the world. That's not going to matter for a very, very long time, though. The amount of radiation that I'm receiving before I get into the mod is so negligible. Man, how do you pronounce that word? I know how to pronounce that word, but for some reason I just can't pronounce it right now. It's barely even worth mentioning because I could sit indefinitely over the uranium and it's not going to hurt me. My body actually dissipates the radiation at an extremely slow rate. I just realized I'm going to need twice as much iron as that so that I can have a bucket. For some reason, I cannot shift click my wood into the bottom slot there. Man, what was I talking about? I already forgot. So scatterbrained. I don't get the scatterbrained usually. There's something about recording that makes you lose track of what you were doing completely. I guess I was talking about what kind of animals I want to have in my zoo here. But yeah, in addition to that, another big one is this zoo and wild animal mod, which as you can imagine, adds a whole bunch of zoo-appropriate creatures. And in addition to housing all of the creatures, of course, I also want to decorate the zoo so that it looks nice. And that will be a pretty good project to do as well whenever I get around to it. Another project that I have, of course, would be Nuclear Craft building the nuclear fission generator, which is very complex and interesting in my opinion. I need more stone picks, because who knows how long it's going to be. Aha, there we go. Our first creepy spider. Who knows how long I'm going to have to dig before I actually hit a diamond. Why didn't I use all of my sticks? Okay. I'm gonna run out of torches. You know what? Let's go ahead and grab the coal that I saw on my way down here, and then we'll go back up and make more torches so that it's not dark for you guys. I do know that YouTube will make the video a little bit darker, which can be very annoying whenever you're in 0 light in Minecraft. Yeah. So, one thing that people do in modern Minecraft is that they tend to hoard loads and loads and loads of power, way more power than they actually need. And after a certain point, there kind of stops being anything to use the power on, at least not to the degree that people tend to collect massive amounts of power. So some of the things that I can use my massive amounts of power on would be draconic evolution, things like making these awakened draconium blocks, which will cost me about 1/3 of a billion RF, which is quite a lot, of course. I also have the laser drill, which will be very handy in the future because I can get all of these different ores basically from nothing except for power. Those are the two major things. Another really cool thing that I've got is immersive. I need to put the @ sign in front of that. Immersive railroading. So, what that does, man, it really does not like loading those images from that. I guess they're too 3D for my computer to handle it. What that mod does, though, is that it adds tracks that are wider than 1 block. The trains in it are life-sized. They are huge. And they also are capable of going very, very fast. The... Oops. Atlantica... Or wait, no, just Atlantic. The E6 Atlantic. That's the fastest train in the whole mod, and it's capable of going 185 kilometers per hour, as you can see. Man, I grabbed all that coal, and then I forgot to go back up and actually use it. I'm such a dummy. But yeah, eventually I do want to have a immersive railroading rail network that takes me between my base and at least one other villager village. That would be really cool. I would like to have villagers come and visit my zoo. And yes, I will admit that part of the reason that I made that decision is because there is a thing here called the conductor's whistle. And whenever you use that, you basically invite the villagers onto your train if you have a passenger car. And for every 1,000 blocks as the crow flies that you transport them, they will pay you an emerald per villager. So, that would be a good way of getting lots and lots of emeralds. Admittedly, I could also get emeralds by using the laser drill in a extreme hills biome. But, the whole train thing sounds much more interesting if you ask me. Um, oh, I thought I found draconium ore for a second. It looks a little bit like that, but no, that's just silicon. I'm not even gonna bother with it for now. I should have grabbed a bucket of water while I was up there so that I can, go through any lava. In fact, let's go ahead and go and do that right now. Um, and I will also go ahead and refill my supply of torches while I'm up there. What are some other goals? Oh yes, so this is the thing that shows you all of the things in Draconic Evolution. It's a guidebook to Draconic Evolution. Um, One very specific thing, though, is the energy core. This energy core in particular is the biggest energy core, I think. Actually, that might not be the biggest one. That doesn't look big enough. Anyway, though, you can make them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you reach tier 8. And the tier 8 one requires a lot of stuff. One energy core, 36 stabilizers, and over 1,000 draconium blocks. Some of them are awakened. Yeah. Anyway, it holds a lot of power. I think it's over 9 pentillion power, which is a lot. Whenever I was messing around in creative mode, I took the uranium RTG. Uranium RTG produces 1 RF per tick constantly. This is the weakest power producer that I have, so this was just a fun little test. But I hooked up exactly 1 uranium RTG to the biggest energy core here, and it told me that it would be able to fill it up in 14.6 billion years, in real time, not in Minecraft time. So yeah, it holds a lot of power, and merely constructing it is going to be a goal. Attempting to fill it up is technically a goal, but it's not a goal that I'm actually ever going to achieve. So, just merely making the attempt to fill that thing up is another goal, even though it's obviously one that is doomed to fail. But let's just see how far we can get before I finally get bored of this and stop, shall we? It is important to be able to store a ton of power, though, because I legitimately need to be able to store that much power. The most insane goal that I had in mind here is to make a immersive railroad track that travels out at least 1,000,000 blocks. And in order to do that, getting tongue-tied here, I will need at least 1,000,000 steel ingots, and gathering that much iron, it's 500,000 iron ore, maybe a little bit less than that if I can find a way to more than double the output. But it's going to be probably about 500,000 iron. That's a lot of iron to dig up by hand. I'm probably going to rely on the laser drill. The laser drill requires 300,000 RF per block that it digs up, and there's only a chance that it is going to dig up iron. I can make it much more likely that it'll dig up iron by using the brown laser lens. So it'll start digging up aluminum, iron. Actually, I can avoid getting aluminum by having the target Y position be below Y68. So I will get a combination of nickel and iron mostly, it looks like. It'll still get other ores though. So, 300,000 times, 500,000. What would that even be? I can't think while I'm being attacked. 500,000 times 3 is 1.5 million. We'll add 5 zeros to that for the 100,000. So that's 150 billion RF, I think. Is that right? I might be mistaken, but it's a significant portion of a trillion RF. And that doesn't even account for the probability of getting other ores while doing... I'm such a scatterbrained, I forgot to fill up my freaking bucket. I suppose there's a chance that we'll find water underground. In fact, I can see water underground because of the, not JEI, the journey map. Let's get a little bit closer here. Yeah, I can see that. Let's go toward it. That's as good as an idea as any. Oh, this reminds me of another goal. Beating Abyssal Craft is going to be an endeavor. Okay, goal achieved. And I forgot to light up the place, but that's okay. I'm only going to grab one of these diamonds right now, and hopefully we will come back for the rest whenever I get Fortune 3. Although, I'm going to need another diamond in order to make the enchanting table, I just remembered. So we'll go ahead and grab another one of these, and we'll use it up later whenever I've got myself established in the Twilight Forest. But yeah, beating Abyssal Craft in particular is also going to be an endeavor all on its own. It's a very, very difficult mod to beat. I think the boss that comes from it might be... Am I... I'm only using render distance of 8 because this mod pack is so large that there is a lot of resources for it to load in whenever reading a chunk, much more than vanilla Minecraft. I have noticed that my chunk loading is significantly slower than with vanilla, but that's to be expected. How much copper did I get? Not enough to make a pulverizer. I kind of want to have a pulverizer. There's some stone exposed to the surface in this direction over here. Let's go ahead and grab it really quick, or grab the copper that is almost certainly going to spawn in here, rather. Because I need enough for a pulverizer. There we go. Need at least one more. There we go. Actually, it would be nice if I can get my total number up to 12 pieces or more. The more copper I find here, the better, because I won't have to find it in the Twilight Forest. Just gonna make this really quick here. Every time I think I'm done, there's more. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and head back up to the surface now. Before I, It's so tempting to just keep on going, you know? I've been very conservative with my food. A lot of people don't realize this, but especially after they overhauled the way that hunger mechanics work, um, you can actually survive without eating for a very, very long time if you don't sprint. And also if you avoid taking damage, but that's not exactly something that you can control. Um, let's go ahead and grab the water that I need before I do anything else. You know what? I thought there was water in that spot because of the journey map, but it was not water. It was in fact a silverwood tree. Okay. I should have marked the place where I dug down. That would have been a good idea. Ah, there it is. Okay. Before I do anything else, I'm going to mark this as home. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to live here, but it doesn't really matter for many, many episodes because I'm not even going to be living here at first. Okay, you know what, sure. You can be the start of my portal. Gonna need more water. I do have cyberware installed along with Genetics Reborn. And those two are definitely mods that can make me overpowered, especially the Genetics Reborn mod. That mod allows you to take the traits of other creatures and apply them to yourself, which allows you to do things like make yourself immune to fire and lava by getting the genetics from a nether mob. Okay, I am going to need flowers, I just remembered. These tulips, they're tulips, right? Yeah. These tulips will do. Along with other vanilla plants that I can find. Genetics Reborn also allows you to acquire flight. It is pretty costly to do, but it is something that you can do eventually if you put in the time and effort. And that does make you overpowered. I don't mind making myself overpowered as such because being overpowered can be fun, and it's also a really good way to save time in the future whenever I stop caring about fairness in combat and I start wanting to do other things like being a builder. But it's certainly not something I want to do while I'm exploring these other dimensions, because if I acquire the ability to have flight and regeneration at all times, that's another thing that you can get. Lava immunity, poison immunity, wither immunity, all sorts of things. All sorts of things. I need another tulip. I know I could have grabbed that daisy just now, but I kind of want to have a... Oh, that wasn't a pink one. There we go. I kind of wanted to have an even mix of 6 and 6 since I was so close to having that already. Actually, I think I could have even used these ferns and grass pieces to activate this portal, but this looks cooler. Alright, here we go. Hey! Well, I've never had that happen before. Never have I ever had the lightning that is produced whenever you make that portal burn away my plants. That was mean. Well, oh, a bow. I actually kind of need that. Okay, I need to figure out what I'm bringing with me so that I can get a head start. Gonna bring as much as I can. That might be everything that I care about, actually. Let me go ahead and grab the second half of this chest here so that I can go ahead and just plop it down whenever I jump in here. Alright, we're ready. Let's go. Whoa, whoa. Is this a witch hut? I better mark this portal location. What an unfortunate location to have my portal. This is a spawner in it, right? Yes, it does. It's shooting at me. Lovely. Okay. There's no reason to go in there. My map is glitching. Okay. I want to find a raven and kill it and get the feather from it so that I can make the magic map, which will allow me to have the locations of the dungeons in this place. That would be good. Once I've done that, I will go ahead and set up a spot for my base. I should probably use the map in order to identify neutral mobs, which are marked with a white dot. That's what I believe the raven should be. Something very convenient about getting into the Twilight Forest this early is that I should be rather safe, actually. The game is lagging a little bit because it's generating new chunks. It is always twilight in the Twilight Forest, which means that the surface of the world is always lit up unless it happens to be under a lot of... Ooh, there's music. You know, I haven't actually played much 1.12. For the longest of time, for like 4 years straight, 1.7 was the version to use if you're going to play modded. And so that's what I played. And it's only relatively recently that I've gotten into 1.12, and I've never come into the Twilight Forest in survival mode in 1.12 before. I believe that the music only plays in survival mode, and creative mode gives you different music for some reason. I'm not sure why. Okay, good. Now I just need to find a hill. Let's run around a little bit and see. Oh, you know what? I think we found it. I was about to say, let's go ahead and look for one of these hills with loads and loads of ores inside them. But I clearly didn't need to look very far. I might wind up making my base next to this thing. But, let's delve into here and see what we can find. You know what, in the event that I die inadvertently in here... Whoa! Okay, clearly there was a bit of darkness somewhere that allowed you to spawn. I need to be on my guard. Technically this stuff shouldn't even be in the Twilight Forest, but it's not even very good armor either. Should I use it or shouldn't I? Oh, what the hey, it's gonna break very soon anyway. So I'll hold it just so that I can get rid of it whenever it breaks, I guess. I want to conserve my arrows because arrows are going to be very important for fighting the first boss around here. It would have been nice if that guy had dropped some flesh. I'm going to need to figure out a way to get food. But let's go ahead and bust into here first. Is that far enough down? That might be far enough down. Oh! I predicted the location of the floor perfectly, apparently. Why did it have to be a skeleton? Okay, first thing I gotta do is light up this place as quickly as possible, because there are going to be hostiles all over this place if I don't. I'm already seeing lots of good stuff, but that's not my priority just at the moment. What the hey? Okay, there was a chest that tried to spawn here, and apparently it couldn't, and it just had all of its contents explode all over the world instead. Oh no. Is that a flame beetle spawner? That's awful. And kind of cool at the same time, actually. It's awful because I'm not prepared to fight them right now, but later on, I would love to have a spawner for those guys. Get over here, you slime beetle thing. Oh, that's actually... Oh gosh, you hurt. We're getting out of here. Now. We're getting out of here. Okay, we're going to label that as mound. I guess I'm going to be farming potatoes now. Oh dear.